This is the Gathering the Wagons panel.
Yep.
Something like that.
That's us.
It's more so question and answer, kind of, in informal topics. We don't really have a lot of topics chosen. But I guess, no, there's no handouts because it's just a question and answer session. So there is no handout. I guess we can start by.
I think it's just for notes.
Yeah.
Yep, you guys want to take notes?
No.
You need some handout that way.
Yeah, if anybody wants
don't
like a
know
book for notes, there's some
I'll take a stack. Thank you.
plain books.
Anybody want one? Nope. You guys want any note taking? We'll leave a couple.
Yeah.
Note taking.
Do you wanna?
Thank you. And pens.
Or Lori, do you wanna start?
What?
Everybody should have a pen and a
Does everybody have a pen and a paper? If you don't have one, raise your hand. We'll bring them over. And then the session, we can start with managing seasonals, payments, day passes, visitors, wristbands, golf carts. What do you think? What do you want to start on? All of it at once? Day passes. What's a day pass? Okay. So for instance, at my park in Baraboo, to come into the park, you do have to come to the office and purchase a day pass. It's $5. My seasonals have a fit about that, but that's okay. Just to come in and use my bathroom and use the toilet paper, somebody's got to pay for that, is my philosophy. Some cleanup, or if their kids are using the pool, etc. So does any? I'm kind of generous there. It's just per car. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not Adam. Is Adam here? Where's Adam? Oh, shoot! What do you do?
I'm the other end of the spectrum. I'm the campground that everybody says exists and nobody believes exists. So we do not charge for day passes.
Come on, ooh.
Yep. So what we did, we found that day passes were the #1 point of contention. That was always a negative interaction.
Yep.
And who was it a negative interaction with? It was a negative interaction with someone who is walking into my campground for their very first time. And this is their first experience of me, is arguing with me about paying a day pass fee. So we said, hey, we're sick of these fights. This is terrible marketing. We looked at how much we made in day passes, averaged it out our number of reservations per year. We bumped all of our reservation rates exactly what we were making in day passes and include free visitors. We say up to 4 adults is free. And then we don't usually allow more than 4 adults per site, even with visitors, but if they talk to us, sometimes we make exceptions for adult children. But that's typically what we do. And we don't have any fights. We have more people registering for passes than ever before because it's free. So now we actually know who's in the campground. We have this moment of marketing to them that's very pleasant and happy, and it's a wonderful welcome to our campground. And for our seasonals, it's value added, and it works out great. We've had no
What
problems.
if one of your seasonals have a birthday party and
Right.
they want to have
Yep.
5 or 6 cars come in?
So we specifically go over that with them. We say, if you're going to have more than 4 adults visiting, you need to check with us in advance. We need to make a plan for parking. There may be a fee associated with a larger event. A lot of times when they have larger events, they want to borrow one of our pavilions or lounges anyway, and so we can kind of roll that into that conversation. And depending on how much resources they use, occasionally there's a small fee. Sometimes we can do it
You
for
let
free.
them park those cars, even if they, whether you charge them or not, and they all want to go to the campsite, you let them park all those cars there?
Not at the campsite, no. We have overflow parking areas that we would assign them a location. But because we usually work so well with them, they don't hesitate to approach us because they know we're going to do the best by them we can. We get it free if we can. And so usually they'll actually approach us and say, okay, this is what we're thinking. Where do you want us to park them? How can we shuttle them? And we work it out, and it's not a problem.
See, I only have 5 parking spots. That would not work for me. So who's on the other end of the spectrum than her?
We're all inclusive, and we're on the river, so we offer canoeing, tubing, kayaking, and portable boards, mini golf. So we went the other way. We decided, or maybe not time our customers and charge them for everything, so we went all inclusive. So if you have a seasonal site with us, you get to tube and kayak and do all that for free as much as you want. On the other hand, we do charge $25 for a day pass
Per person?
per person. Because if they're gonna go to the Dalles and go on their equipment all day long,
Right.
they should pay for it. It's not like they're just sitting at the tent site and maybe using the bathroom. They are doing everything. They're doing the jumping pillow and the mini golf and the running ranges and the petting zoo. They're doing all of it. But what we did do to ease some of the frustrations on the $25 per person is that we have wristbands for our seasonals, little rubber wristbands that they can take off and on, that shows that they're seasonals, that shows that they can go for free on all the equipment. We made guest wristbands, and they could buy those for $65 for a season. And then you can use that wristband that you bought for all of your guests for the entire season. So if you bought two, you can have two guests come and go for the entire season, and that's what the seasonals own.
I did try that once, and one of my Brave seasonals, oh, just here, take my band. Here, you wear it for the day. So they
Put the site number on it.
they lost it.
So that, because, yeah, they do tend to.
They get sneaky.
wander.
I think there's an important distinction between a day pass and, like, for us, we have a day pass and we have a wristband. So we charge everybody who comes in, if you're in the reservation, your reservation includes 2 adults and up to 4 kids. Anybody beyond that, they pay an extra person fee.
Right.
That same extra person fee is what a visitor pays. So it's $5 per person when they come in for the day, and that gets them into the park. They can park their car with that. They can use our pool, but then it doesn't include our wristbands. So then that's a separate fee that our campers could buy and the visitor could also buy. So we do have like different levels, but anybody who comes into the park, we do charge $5 and it covers their car, and we get flack on it too, but they pay 99% of the time or they leave. But
Right.
I don't think it's asking much for someone to pay $5 to use your.
$5, yeah. We
Yeah,
were
it's-
joking, my dad went to Disney like 2 weeks ago, and it was like $1,300 for us to walk in the door. And then we still paid $40 for ice cream, and, you know, I said, I wonder if I could have went to the ticket store and just said, we're just gonna come into Disney and like look around and we don't want to pay.
How would that work?
But the other
Yep.
side of that
Where?
argument is like when you fly, right? And nowadays, when you fly, you gotta buy your ticket. Okay, but then you can't bring a bag, so you have to pay for a bag. Okay, but then you have to buy a seat. Oh, okay. And then if you wanna sit together, you have to buy more expensive seats, because only the, you know. And I start out thinking, oh, I'm probably gonna pay $500 for an airline ticket. Then the kayak result is $325. I get all excited, $325. And then I get to the end and it's $500 plane ticket. And now I'm angry because I thought I was paying $325 and I'm paying $500. And it all seems hidden and not known. I'd rather know I'm paying $500 for a plane ticket. That seems fair, and that includes actually sitting my butt in a seat. I think that can be how those extra fees feel. So you have to decide for your campground and your clientele what's the right thing. We've chosen this is the price, and you only book, and that's it. But not everybody obviously chooses that, because most people make fun of us for our free visitors. But I'll tell you, it works well for us.
Good, good. Eileen, did you have a comment?
Yeah, on that too, is you have to consider one thing. It's nice to be the friendly campground, okay? But we are profit oriented, you know. The other part of it is you have to register each one of your guests legally. You have to know who's on your property. They are gonna start probably as taking licenses pretty sure. So if one of your guests, if they're not registered the proper way, and you have a problem, you know, like they said, let the kid go to the pool, and there's no adult there. You don't even know who he is. You don't know who to belong. The other thing is that the way you spin that guest fee is so easy. You either say, you know, especially seasonals, you know what, we're keeping your rate down. So we're not, you know, this is our rate, we're keeping it down with the understanding that we are going to charge guest fees for your guests. But it's keep, you know, you're a party of 2, a senior citizen, you're a party of 4. Is it fair for the senior citizens to be next door to people that have free campers? Because they're still paying the same as a family of 4. So you can do a really good spin on that they feel good. And my experience is most of them will say, I don't want to pay the bills, you make them pay when they come. It also is, we've used the fact that the seasonals is, they know they can't have a million guests come because they're gonna have to pay. But you can spin that whole story to make you look good. I would never feel guilty about not charging. It wouldn't bother me at all, you know, because they expect it. And we charge for a car too. You come in, it's not just a guest fee, you also pay a car. You know, and just your car's right. Now, we don't have paved roads. We're in the mountains like you guys. So every car that goes by, your stone goes out. And every morning, the stone rate comes back in. You know, this is all expenses. And the more guests you have, the more expense you have. The other question that you've got to have to ask yourself is, the insurance company, basically a lot of them base you on your revenue and your people cost access, okay? So the more people you have on your park, the more liability that it's under your, so you've got to think about that. So I just say to my people coming in, I'm sorry, there's a guest fee, unless you're registered, we're not insured, you're not insured here. You really are considered a trespasser. So, you know, you can just take whatever you want either side, but you can spin that in a good way. It doesn't have to be negative.
It also may depend on like the size of your park, because obviously if you have, you know, maybe a smaller park and not have the room to have everybody to have free guests, you know, that could look bad too. People could come in and say, oh, this is really busy here. I don't know, you know. So it kind of depends on your campground and what works for you. Like Emily has said, you know, it's what works for each individual campground. We do charge for guests. 16 over is no charge, 4 and under is no charge. If grandkids, there's no charge for seasonal grandkids. A lot of times, if it's like my sister or my mom in the office with our seasonals and anybody that's like manager, some of our seasonals that don't have kids that are having a niece and nephew come in, we will also record that as a grandchild and not charge them for that. We also do, just to kind of help, you know, ease that they're being charged for their guests, you know, keep our rates as low as possible. But we also do like a gift in the mail, like a Christmas gift for guest passes for the season. So that helps a little bit. As far as like our daily customers, if they have guests come in, it's the same. It's overnight, it's a different charge. It's $8 per person for overnight. Day is $5. And then we do off seasons.
Do you still have that, you emailed us that letter that someone emailed you, or I don't remember how you got it.
Oh, yes, I
The
do.
one that we pinned it to our board.
I do.
because
I should have brought
read
that.
Everyone in this room should read that.
Okay.
What-
I
was
will,
it a guess?
okay, let me put that on maybe the Waco Facebook page. Is everybody on that? It's, it's great literature about why you charge for guests. I guess I need to read it. Right, Joyce?
Is it the KOA one?
I don't even know.
I bet it
It's like
is.
lists out, you know, why we charge
Yeah,
the
and-
road, the
It's a
toilet
great-
paper, the water.
Yep, it's like that. I'll put that on the website for you guys, you know.
That like really gets you emotionally too, a little bit. You're like, this is why.
You really get upset. Yeah, actually.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, if you have all these guest pay, how are you regulating when someone's paid? Are you guys giving wristbands? How are you knowing that someone is paid?
That's a good question.
Yeah, we do car passes as well, so
Yep,
if
hangs in the window.
the visitor comes in, a lot of times, like, so for seasonals anyways, they'll come in sometimes, first off, our program monitors, like, whether the seasonals want to pay or sometimes the guest would pay, they'll pass it on to their guest. And we let them do that in the office. They decide with us in the beginning of the year, I would like to pay my guests, or I want my guests to pay on their own. When they come in, the seasonals want to let us know that they're coming in. We'll start a pass to have it ready for them, and mark it paid if it's already paid, or it's not. If it's not paid, we don't mark it paid. Anyway, so that they fill out the rest of that. We get their address, all that, the contact information, and they have their car pass. As far as wristbands or anything, we don't wristband, but that's because we don't really have everything. Like anything that we have is, no charge other than like bike rentals and mini golf.
Yeah, ours is the same, except I just don't know who came in that car. So how do I know if they're?
You could ban them, maybe choose a color. That says guest?
We've tried everything. We've tried just charging by the carload, we've tried wristbands. I don't think we have the right thing yet.
Well, we have a guard shack, so when you drive in,
Yeah.
I have a problem scheduling someone to just sit there. So I haven't done it yet, but that'd be the other way. I mean, what am I contradicting myself? But Bud did it.
We have a
Yep.
and it's worked out well. We've had to train our guests. I say for everything we've ever done, it takes a while for us to train our guests. But the park we've had, even before us, there was always a visitor fee. But we hear that, I mean, to this day, we still hear like, well, there wasn't a visitor fee last year.
Oh, we hear that too.
But now that we've got
Yes.
that guard shack out there, so I schedule someone in
You
there.
do?
Pretty
Okay.
much full time, the office is open. Front desk doesn't love it, but they do it in shifts. I mean, someone's not stuck
Yeah,
in the guard
trade
shack
out.
all day.
Okay.
So and it really hasn't added that much to our staffing, because before, there was 4 people at the desk, because check-in was insane, where now there's 3 people at the desk and 1 person in the guard shack, because everyone's checking in at the guard shack. So we stop every car. If they have a car pass, we let them through. So maybe they went and met their neighbor at the gas station and put them in for free. But most people, they stop, they see us, we have a sign right when you pull up, you know, visitor passes, please pay here, so they know ahead of time. We've done a lot, like literature-wise, all the emails we send to people, it's all over our website. If you're gonna have guests come in, please let them be aware of the following fees.
That's a good idea.
Less and less complaints now that the guard shack's there, it's, you know, they're used to it.
Joyce?
You have to wait.
Tell them the difference in the revenue after we got for our day visitors.
Oh, yeah.
For the ones that don't think there's
Yeah,
money in it.
triple what we were getting in visitors in one season, because everybody was just driving in. We had a cute little sign that said stop at the office, but they don't stop at the
They
office.
don't.
And now they have no choice, and if they fly by, then the guard check calls me and they tell me what car it was and which
Here
direction
goes
they went.
after.
On your Segway.
Labor intensive, and so I can see why Lake Arrowhead isn't charging, because we have 3 people that work our whole campground,
Right.
Rich, Diane, and I. And we can't, what we're gonna pay out to have somebody at a guard shack, we're not gonna take in that kind of money, it's just not worth it.
Right.
It
You
doesn't
guys
work
also
for
be
every-
free.
every
They are
check
much more
runs
honest
different.
than they ever were previously. I actually have a more accurate guest log than I did before when we used to charge. Because they're like, it doesn't cost me anything, I'll go get the tag, it takes just a minute, and then they come in and register. So personally, that was our solution to the problem, because it was a problem at our campground.
You hope the people are dishonest, and then if they're not,
Yeah.
I think that way.
Dave?
No, there are always people like this.
It's good that we're all sharing. I'll show you our Buddhist brand on the trails. We have about 150 seasonals. And about 2 years ago, we included 20 passes for one-night stays with our seasonal for each site. And if they wanted to buy more, they could buy more. After we did this, we have a check-in log at the desk. When people come in, we register them. And we found that 95% of our seasonals didn't even use all 20 passes in a year. But we had about 7 or 8, 10 families that, and we already knew this, which is why we did it, corporately abused the system. They always had 10, 12 guests every weekend. And so now they have to pay, which is fine. We're not going to solve that problem. We used to have a $5 a day for a day pass and $10 for an overnight pass. Well, the day pass, we're supposed to leave at 9. Well, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, they're still there. And from our security standpoint, our security guards have found most people that are problem in our park are people that didn't pay. People that snuck in or have no skin in the game. So now we got rid of the $5 day pass, it's $10 for the day pass and $10 for overnight. So we don't care if you come or go, we still got $10. And we also have much larger problems. We have very, very big problems throughout the whole year because we don't have people just coming in for free. We also don't allow anybody to come on the property who hasn't pre-registered. We have people who, I met so-and-so in a bar at 8 o'clock. I'm bringing this person into the gambling at 10. No, they're just not allowed to. So it's really helped having 20 free passes. We really know who's coming and going. On Saturdays, we have a person out at the front entrance who's checking every car that comes through. if they're gonna sneak people in, the only way to eliminate sneaking people is with a wristband on every person. We have been talking about putting in a gate system, probably still will. That really would stop a lot of the cars just going right on through. That's the next step, is rather than putting a wristband on, using the gate.
So with the gate,
That's our story, and it's worked out pretty well.
with the gate, does anybody have the gate? So do you have codes or do you have cards they gotta slip in? So I like cards, because you can share you'll share the code,
You're
right?
gonna need the cards and you're still gonna need person staffing because one way or another they'll figure out a way to switch. But the other thing too is it depends on what amenities you have. In our campers, like for example, we're close to Milwaukee. 90% of our campers come from within an hour. So if I'm going to Jellystone and I live 10 minutes away, well, why not have 3 other families who live 10 minutes away come visit me? Well, they're not coming to come sit at my campsite. They're coming to use the water slide and all
Yeah,
the
they
other
are.
things that we include for a camper. So our day pass is $14. Well, it includes laser tag, blow-ups, water slides, the other water, you know, or whatever it is. But, and if a customer, you know, I think a lot of it is like Tia said, you gotta put the information out there.
Right, proactive.
Because if somebody comes up and says, well, I'm not paying that, you know, my response to them is like, I'm really sorry you weren't aware of this. We put it in confirmations and all these other avenues to make them aware of it because we too don't want you to come here and be surprised. And if a camper comes and complains, I can't believe my guests have to pay this. Well, I'm so sorry, sir, but you know, if we're charging you for it, who's booking the site, and you get to use this as many times as you want, do you want your neighbor to have 50 people in?
Right.
Well, no. Well, then, I mean, it's a moot point because, again, though, it's a value-driven thing. You can't spend $14 a person and go to Six Flags or certain
Right.
things like that. So what are you offering in return? If we just have a picnic table and a site or whatever, and we're, you know, 2 hours from where most of our guests are coming from, it's probably irrelevant, and then maybe it drives up your value. But for us, that would never, ever work.
Right.
And in fact, you have to drive your price up to make sure you don't overcrowd your pool. Now we don't let guests even go in the pool. We have a new lake and everything else, but because it's not worth it to us, so we could make more money, but we're choosing not to let any visitors do that because we're protecting that value that we're providing for our campers. So
Another way to think about it is if we're going to the movie theater, if I buy my ticket, do all of you get to come in and watch a movie with me? You do not. So if you keep that in your brain, that's what gets me through, and I'll have to raise it.
Popcorn, I won't watch it.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And I'll share.
And you'll share it, yeah.
One thing we do with our seasonals is right from the get-go, we offer them 2 different options. They can either have 2 guests in at any time, or they can pick a day where they could have.
no, so they get 2 options. Either you can have 2 passes at any given time. So it's Tuesday, you get 2 passes. It's Wednesday, you get 2 passes. Or you get a bank of 20. Because you might have 2 older people that are from Florida and they never have family come, but on Monday they want 10. You can pick that, but you don't get both. And that has seemed to kind of poo-poo the, oh, I'm gonna go borrow your 10 passes or yours or whatever, but here's your option.
Oh, does that happen? So one
Well,
seasonal will
yeah,
trade up?
I mean, it all
Oh, they're
happens.
so
Like,
sleazy.
oh, you're not using any of your passes, no, I'm gonna have 50 people in. We're busy on the weekend, like adding 50 people to what we already have. you know,
Right.
Can you say that again? What are the 2 options?
So like if you're a seasonal, you can choose between one of 2 options. You can have 20 passes, and when the 20 are gone, they're gone and you pay. Or you can have 2 passes on any day, any given day. So like if you're a grandparent and you pick the 2 pass option, that means if you have 3 grandkids come every day, you're paying for 1 kid every day. Alternatively, you get 20 passes and you use 3 passes when those 3 grandkids come each time.
Does everybody have seasonal contracts? Okay, so when you said and you put that information about the guest out, on our seasonal contract, half the page is dedicated to guests. So my thing is, we're not getting in, you know, when they come in, they know what it is. So we're not disappointing them because they either sign this contract that explains to guests how our guest rules work and everything. And so you're, just like you said, you're putting the information out to them. So there's no question about, because before they sign the contract, they have to agree to our guest policy.
Yeah, we want the same thing, that it's in our agreement, And we have like a seasonal like welcome packet at the beginning of the season when everyone checks in, that's when they get their car pass and if they got their season wristbands. And there's a sheet in there that again explains the visitors and they sign it, and we give our seasonals a couple options too. They get 25 of the day passes for the season. They can use up to 5 a day, that way they can't have a party one day and invite 25 people. So 25 season or passes, if they use them, they pay like normal. And then we also do like a wristband option for them. But the one option we have is they have to register their visitors anytime they're gonna come. If they're gonna use one of their passes, we give them the option for a repeat visitor too. Someone that's always gonna come that has the liberty to use their passes, you know, if they've got someone that comes every day. And then grandkids, again, we don't charge for the grandkids. We've talked about like how to figure out the numbers on that because we have a seasonal, for instance, that has 3 grandkids and they come like literally every single day. We have another seasonal who has 12 grandkids and they come like one time in July. And so we had before said like, well, he would have to pay after the 4 grandkids for the rest of them, but then is that fair to him? And so, I mean, that's something that we gotta kind of think through too. Is
Right.
If one person wants to use all those passes one time versus someone who uses it every day. But I like Bridget's, I like the 2 options. I think that would work for a lot of people.
This year, I'm gonna get the seasonals together, because we have all of our rules, but then there's always those that break the rules. They're the ones that have the 15 kids every week. So we're bringing everybody together, we're gonna say, okay, here's the open the floor. How do you guys think that we should handle it? We're a business, we wanna make money, and your neighbors have 15 people here all the time. What is the fair way? Let's all talk about this. How do we do this?
I would not.
No. Is it small?
What I want to do is I want them to be the ones. So the people next to them that have 15, they're going to hear how upset everybody else is.
It's, at the end of the day, it's your business. Once you kind of even let them think that they have any say or power or anything. We had a seasonal that wanted to make a board. They wanted like a board, and we're like, absolutely not. Like, at the end of the day, if, I don't want to say it. If you don't like our rules, there's hundreds of other parks in the state. There might be one that suits you better. So that's the conversation.
And we're not opening up all the rules. Don't get me wrong.
I wouldn't even open up that forum for them to voice their opinion.
You have the choice to not offer them a contract in your ear. If they're a problem, you have control.
Right.
I know that you do it.
At our part entrance, we have a sign, that says, beyond this point, if you're not registered, it's double, it's $20. So if I'm gonna chase you in the campground on my bike and find you, it's $20. If I find you at the season, it's also in our seasonal agreement, any people at your site that aren't registered, we're charging your account $20. So it's $10 at the gate, or $20 past year. I mean, you don't sneak in the movie, you don't sneak in the brewer game, you don't sneak in the packaging, or the circus.
Right.
Okay. And we also have a sign that's front entrance that shows what Columbia County trespassing fine is. It's $171. So you saw the sign when you came in. You're gonna go past this point, that's what you risk.
Right.
And if you're nice, I'll charge you $20. If you're a jerk, you can pay $171 and the next person will talk to us.
Right. Okay, so
Topic of seasonal, the one thing that I was gonna say is we have quite a few. I mean, we have 64 seasonals, but Joyce or me, we meet with every single one when they sign the contract. It's not a free-for-all. You can re-sign up on your contract. You have to make an appointment, you come in, and we go through the whole contract. I mean, not word for word the whole contract, but if there's anything new, that's when we tell them about it.
Right.
And then that's usually everything gets nipped in the butt right there, because if they have a problem, they'll tell us right then and there. We can solve it. If we can't solve it, then don't sign your contract. I mean, I think that's been much easier for us. That way when we have things like our seasonal get-togethers, there's no, usually, I mean, there's still their gossip at the campfire. You'll always have that, but whenever they do get together, we don't feel like we're gonna get attacked because we've at least opened communication with them that they can come talk to us and they won't sign their contract for next year unless we feel that they have agreed to everything, you know?
so it sounds like we have ideas on day passes. You basically have to know your campground and do what works for you. I know you have a question, but then next can we move on to golf carts because I'm interested in that. What was your question?
Switch gears real quick from that.
Yeah.
Does anyone charge for pets here? And if so, what do you charge? We do charge for pets.
Mm-hmm.
We have a pretty good turnout with people actually letting us know how many pets they have, but we're just curious if you guys can.
I didn't charge for pets until I put a dog park in and had to clean up dog poop. So now, everybody picks up their dog poop, right? Yes. So now one dog's included, but the second one is $10. What do you charge?
We charge $3 a pet.
That's okay too. Somebody has to clean it up.
You make more on pets than what you would on,
I prefer pets over people.
and you make more money than you don't have to charge. for
See? So I'm good.
Now I know.
And a question on pets?
Anybody not allow pets?
We have some.
Anybody not allow pets? Okay, let's do some show of hands. Raise your hand if you charge for pets. Okay. There you go.
Not very many.
Raise your hand if you don't allow pets. Okay, that's no noise. Raise your hand if you have pet-friendly cabins.
Those are coming, yeah. Not yet.
So what do people that have pets, what do you charge for your pet fee?
What do you charge for pet fees? Whoever charges.
We only charge if they're in our pet friendly, and it's a $50 fee per pet.
Cabin?
Per night.
Like you keep that, or that's just a deposit?
It's a fee.
Oh, perfect.
Extra cleaning, I think that's pretty.
I would pay that. Okay.
Per visit. Per visit.
Do you charge for pets?
No, we do not charge for pets, but we do put in the reservation what kind of dog or cat it is and its name, in case it's loose on the campground and we
Right.
can actually find it.
We put a wristband on every collar with the site number. Yeah. I've had to just walk for hours with the dog on a leash, and now I don't have to do that anymore. I just banned them.
Good idea.
Yeah. Yep. Ashley?
We did what Silver Springs did. Silver Springs, some years ago, started charging a $20 deposit, okay? Because people weren't following the dog rules. $10, okay? We changed it to 20.
Inflation.
So the biggest problem is, with pets, people not keeping on a leash. Back in 2005 and 2006, we had 5 dog bites in a year.
Oh.
So, and we said, we're going to solve this problem. We're doing $20 deposit now. And we got our customers trained, they're going to follow rules, but they get kicked out. It's just the way it is. That dog better not be off the leash. We're in a big problem. So last year was the first year we eliminated the $20 deposit, because this was kind of a bookkeeping nightmare, keeping track of all that. And we had a pretty good year. We haven't had any dog bites for over 10 years. And
Yeah, knock on wood.
and that's why we did it. You cannot have somebody get bit by a dog. And so it makes people behave. $20 wasn't enough. If we go back to it, it's going to be 50. Because people don't care about $20. You learn. So it'll be 50 if we have to go back to it.
Good. Okay. So you got that answered, you feel? Okay.
Question, does anybody have like a deposit for the pets on a site, like if they leave the site for the dog poop?
Yeah, that's what this is for. The $120 is for breaking any dog rule. Don't clean up after your dog's off the leash, your dog's being walked by a 3-year-old and it's a German Shepherd, whatever it is. You have to follow all the rules, otherwise you lose your $20 deposit and your dog goes home.
So does someone go inspect the site before they depart?
Our cleaning crew, when they come around and clean the site,
Yeah.
if they find dog food, they're going to report it.
Okay. So you charge after the fact.
Will they keep the deposit, or it's a deposit?
But do they come in before they go home and say, can I have my 20 back?
Yeah, they'll come in and ask for the $20 when they leave. If we find a problem after that point, they're going to have to pay next time they come, and they're going to lose the $20.
Okay, got it. Okay. So what about golf carts? Does everybody allow golf carts in the campground? Like the overnighters can bring them in?
Okay, so raise your hand if you allow overnighters to bring in their golf carts. Okay? Keep your hand up if you charge for them to bring in their golf carts. Okay? So raise your hand if you don't allow overnighters to bring in golf carts. Okay?
Yep, I don't.
All those who don't allow overnighters to bring in golf carts, raise your hand if you do allow seasonals or have rentals. No, no
Seasonals,
golf carts
yeah.
at all except for you.
Okay.
Wait, if you have a rental, that was kind of confusing.
I'm sorry.
So our seasonals bring in their golf carts.
Right.
But they have rules to follow and a contract to sign, and we have our own rentals.
But no overnighters.
But no overnighters.
No, we
bring in
rent
their
golf
own.
carts,
What do
but
you charge?
nobody, no matter who it is, can bring their own in.
And on your rentals, what do you charge per weekend?
No, for.
Per night? For if they bring,
Oh, if they bring them in, it's $10 to get the sticker. That
Sticker.
has to be put on there, but they have to show proof of insurance. They have to bring it with them and then check all the golf carts and everything working it. So.
okay. Sounds like everybody does that.
Oh, it's huge part, we're so.
Register their drivers and they get a sticker and it covers the whole season. So they only pay them $20 a long time.
Our ordinators, they charge $10.
I do have a question about golf carts. We have a seasonal that went to one of your campgrounds, and
Just one of ours.
and she got in an accident with your golf cart rental. But how did this work? She did have to pay for the damages, but her homeowners didn't cover it. So that can open up a whole other, like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we're renting out our golf carts, and they're signing all the forms that they're gonna pay for damages.
They're gonna pay those out of pocket, probably.
Right.
Almost for sure.
Was it us, Jerry? 'Cause that
I was gonna say it had to have been us.
It's happened to us before. They're almost certainly gonna pay that out of their own pocket, not their insurance.
Hers was like $4,000.
Yeah.
Ours was $8,000.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, there's probably a beer in the
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other golf cart questions?
Saying on our golf cart, the form when they fill it out, should it say on there, you know, check with your homeowners, or do you offer them a little gap insurance, and you can't do that?
No.
Right.
No, and it probably almost certainly wouldn't cover, like, 90% of the time, if somebody wrecks your rental cart, they're gonna have to pay it themselves. Which is why it can be a bit of a fight to actually get that money. But sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I mean, we rent pontoon boats too. Same story. If they mess up the prop, they're paying for it.
And their homeowners, they can't, or their auto owners, or whatever.
Maybe if you have a Capital One, they would pay for it. I know those have some coverage for rentals, but no.
My question for golf carts is the seasonals, that's who I allow to have them, can't wait for their kids to drive it. So we have a policy. There's a certain age, like 14, they ride along with me and go through a little class, take the ATV course online, it costs like $35, and then I allow them to do it, but keep in mind I'm small, like I couldn't do that at your park or Jerry's park, but they still just sneak them in there. The 12-year-old's driving it, the 10-year-old's driving it, and then I get really upset, and then it's just gonna cut it for me, I'm not gonna allow it, so. I do that. I already do that. So what do you guys do? What is your policy for kids? Hannah?
Ours is 21 across the board, so the only people under 21 that can drive would be our staff. And when people come in and they're like, well, this park, we just blame it on our insurance and say that's what our insurance company allows us to do, and we don't really get much.
Because 21 means they could drink,
Drink
and drive.
That's
Right.
where the biggest, you know what's happening.
Yeah, it is
So,
happening.
You have to have a valid driver's license in our park because they've gone through driver's training. They don't know how to yield, how to watch for anybody else. So you have to have a valid driver's license. So if they have it when they're 16, then they can drive at 16.
That's logical.
The same thing.
What do you have?
Mine's 16 with a valid driver's license or 18. You're an adult.
Okay.
But we do all of our, we're only 6 years into allowing carts because when we bought the park, we couldn't have them. So
Okay.
we started allowing them and put down some pretty basic but followable rules.
Mhm.
And I've only had to recommend maybe 2 people in 6 years going, you're not
Right.
driving that, you're not 16. In fact, the one I caught last year, I looked at her and said, how old are you? Because she looked to be about 12.
Yeah.
She was 17. I said, do you have your driver's license? She's like, yes. You're good to go.
Do you feel that because you have allowed golf carts, you've made more money for?
It has nothing to do with money because I don't charge anything. There's no fee to have it there. I
So
make
you
sure
added
that
it
they have
just for fun,
liability
or-
insurance. I did it because when I saw in that park, we bought a park that we were campers in. Please don't ever do that. By the way, I've never camped in. You would believe headaches.
But we bought a park that we camped in, and what we saw was there were the hill people and the lake people. And when we started allowing carts, we had Roses and Chin Forest campground people. They move around more, they socialize more, and I got rid of some of that craziness right up until last year.
Rob and Nicole, you guys charge, don't you, 25 to bring a cart in or something? 25, overnighters can bring them in, right? Okay.
On my website, I have 3 levels of golf cart rules, which I didn't know until last year, now it's a thing. But you got your seasonal 16 and older, like you just said, valid driving, or that attempt to have responsibility for your own vehicle.
Right.
And then you got the ones that bring them in, and he's the one that argues with anything. He's like, well, my kid's 16, so they're same rules for them, and then I got the rental ones, which are 21 like Hannah said.
Okay.
But we charge, we will give a fee if they break the rules. It's a $50 fine, and then we donate that to the Boys and Girls Club, which is local, which is the Children's Foundation.
Okay.
We don't hand out a lot.
Those are good points. Dib?
I just would be really cautious about letting anybody under 16 without a valid driver's license drive a golf cart, whether they're an employee or not. I don't know how many of you were familiar with a park where a kid died in Wisconsin. It wasn't on a golf cart, but it was a park-operated vehicle. And for us, luckily enough, like we're part of our franchise that came out with a whole bunch of guidelines pretty quickly directly after that. But I'm almost certain you could find yourself in a world of hurt if you're not doing research behind why you're picking that age, because a golf cart's, I think we looked it up, it's considered a motor vehicle. So if you're letting a 14-year-old drive a cart, that kid hits a kid, kills the kid, are you liable? And maybe that's something worth discussing with the Waco attorney, but mid-season we went from, having a couple 15-year-olds driving golf carts and housekeeping to, nope, 16 valid license and the whole thing. So, I mean, it's worth your business, it's worth your company, and I don't know what the right answer is for everyone, but then also to your point, whatever you submit to your insurance, that is your rules, right? So even though your insurance might not say, hey, ours is 21 to run, 18 to drive, it's not because we don't think a 16-year-old can drive, but we think there's a lot of kids around here and you're probably 2 years on the road a little more responsible. Everybody's different, but either way, if we submit that to our insurance company, those are the guidelines. So I think there's truth to that, even though I say, well, it's just our insurance, but I would totally look into that if you have kids under 16 without a valid driver's license, either on staff or off, driving golf carts in your park, just because it's not worth the risk.
Would you be willing to share those guidelines that Yogi has?
I was trying to find
We were trying to find it, we got it.
Maybe just put it on the Waco page or whatever?
But it defined it as a motor vehicle, that it has to be a licensed driver driving.
And it's a little wishy-washy, but that's
Right.
kind of the interpretation that we
I'd like to read it.
Yeah.
We let our Thai girls drive the golf carts when they clean, and they have no license either. And it's very scary. But how are they going to get to the cabins? So,
Four-wheeler.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, any more questions on golf carts? Or wristbands? Do we need to cover wristbands? We kind of did, didn't we? Okay, what are we looking at for time? We have 15 minutes. Managing I saved the best for last. There is no management of seasonals. Any questions about your management of seasonals?
I have.
Anything on your mind?
Like I said, we bought a park that previously camped in. There are people that have been there decades longer than we even camped there before we purchased. They do in Thai club.
So it's time to raise your prices.
I
Yeah.
have a couple of them this year that if they don't toe the line and they continue to poison the well, they're going to find out that the trailer has wheels.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. Not at all, not if they're giving you a headache. I do something odd I bet nobody else does. I have... Who said that? Dave? I make all of my seasonals sign in when they arrive. So 2 reasons. You do that. Okay, good. Number 1 reason is for the state. So when Mary Ellen comes over, she goes, show me who's in the park right now. I go, oh, well, here you go. I have them all sign in. And they want that. They want to know who's in the park at all times. I do it selfishly. One reason, when there's bad weather, I hop on my Segway and I go grab the book and I got to go to all these sites, tell them to bring their awnings in and take cover. But the most important reason is I want to know who's spending time in the park. I only have 50 seasonals. That's all I'm ever going to have. I need them to be the best they can be. I need them to be there. So if you're not going to be there 10 visits a summer, you get a letter from me at the end that says, you're not utilizing your site. I'm so sorry. Maybe we're not the place for you, or either that or come more, one or the other. But I tell them I write everybody in because of the state, but I really utilize that for attendance.
We check them in because like the visitor shows up to visit Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, we check to see that they're here.
Oh, good.
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, if they're not here.
Right.
And we will not let the visitors come in, so if they haven't signed in, the visitors don't come in.
Okay. Every time they come in. Friday, that gets them in the store, so they come in and they know, I give them the menu, they know what the special is from the restaurant, they sign in. Here's your wristbands for the kids for the weekend. Gets them inside. Otherwise, you may never see them in the store. I have seasonals like that too, that don't spend a dime. Did you have a question?
So I have, we have 71 sites. So I have a pegboard that says
Pegboard.
home and pump.
Oh.
We have a lot that are on transfer tanks. So if they're here, they pay in, they're gone home, they put home, they take it, pump, when they go home, they pump.
That's very doable for your size. Mm-hmm. That works for 71, but who's got over 200 sites? Yeah. Who is that? I'm sorry, can we just listen to her question, guys? Say it again.
How do you have them sign in?
I just got a date book out of Staples.
It's just sitting there?
It's just sitting there, a little tent that says seasonal sign in.
Okay.
I haven't graduated anything more no.
Do they write in who's with them?
If they just put number 5.
Share on 3 kids, or
Just put number 5, site 5.
just 5?
I just want to know where to go. My inside.
So what if they come after hours?
They come the next morning.
No, they'll sign up for the.
Yep, because I'm going to bed, and if there's a storm, I don't care. Yeah.
We already have like their name on it.
Are we done? What time is it? We got 10 minutes.
We already have like their information on it. They just have to mark like their date in and out, so that's all they can do. We have those. We do those in the beginning of the year. We have them for each week. And number 1 is because we also have, well, we want it for the same reason, but then we also have some pump out sites. So that's how we know who's in the park to be able to pump them out.
Right.
And then in addition to that, we don't have the best cell phone service in our area. So a lot of times people will call the office wanting to get, in the case of an emergency, and we can go right to that board and say, hey, they're here, I'll go get them, or no, they're not checked in at all. We certainly check if they're not on there, but it just gives us a little bit more information. And we also put like time that they are predicted to leave.
Well, that's what I want to know. Do you have them sign out like if they run to Walmart, come back?
No.
Only when they arrive.
Just when they come in. I'm not going to make it hard on them. Right.
Our check-in log is just sort of a site number, and they sign their name, they put in the day in, and their expected day out.
Oh, there you go.
Yep,
good
that's what we do
idea.
as well.
I like that.
You have to list any guests that they have, so we can make sure those are registered. But by law, you have to have this. You are required by law to register every person in the property, whether it's seasonal or not.
The one thing that my grandma always used to say, and I don't know how much this holds true, but maybe, I don't know. So by law, like they're not supposed to use the campground as their permanent residence. So we do have some seasonals that are snowbirds and do stay there, but we tell them, if you date it that you're leaving out, and then that also shows that. So if they were to ever ask for, I guess there was somebody going around recently, like how many people do you have in here as their permanent residents? Well, we don't because they're not, but that's proof that people leave that they leave the park.
And if you have like the norovirus or something, break out and contact those people there. That's another reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lori, do you have any, anybody that you guys that do the logs that like to check in, do you have issues where they're gonna send emails or try and call instead of stopping in to say, hey, I'm here, they actually physically come in, or do you have issues? Because I find
yeah.
lazy, and so it's
Yep.
like, I don't wanna go in, I just just want to drive by and go to my site. So.
Like I said, I'm small enough, I know every seasonal, their husband and all their children. If they text me, some of them have my phone number or Facebook or whatever, and they'll say, sign me in, I'm here.
Well, that's the thing. They have, I mean, from being a previous owner, they have all my contact information, so they're still texting my phone and emailing me and
Yeah.
Facebook messaging me, and there's so many different forms of contact. So it's like,
Well, you do want them to come in the store, so I think you should say, why don't you pop
You
in?
can't contact my personal stuff.
Not really.
After hours, we have a mailbox out front.
Yes.
Paper in it.
Oh, there you go.
She just checks everything.
Yes, exactly.
I'm wondering, since it's a law that we
What?
have now.
Give them the easy way to check
Why can't we
Okay.
set up some sort
Okay.
of, like, for our employees, they can log in and log out of the cell phone for payroll? Why can't we get together and make some sort of software where they can check in and check out on their own cell phones? And then
That's what I'm thinking, but they could be in Illinois. They could be in Illinois and hop on that app.
If you want to use that service, that's one that exists that has that capability. I mean, so they say you have to have a log. That's the law. Because we just redid the code. So I have a log because I know what seasonals belong on what site. I don't necessarily know if they're present at this moment or not. And I wouldn't know, no offense, even if they wrote that they were there, because they could be out on the lake or the flea market or in town or whatever. So honestly, I've never had a problem with the health department, the fact that I have a list of what seasonals are on what site and what overnighters are on what site. And I can't actually tell you where any individual is at this moment in time.
I don't think
No
anybody.
matter.
Well, no. Right.
So,
know if they're on the campground
yeah.
at all.
Yeah, so I wouldn't stress too much about like having a super perfect seasonal log in and log out because it's never been a problem. Maybe that could come down the pipe, but I doubt it. Just knowing who's supposed to be where is enough.
And Eileen has an idea.
Well, under the Innkeepers Act, you have to have a daily census. I mean, that's the law. The easiest way we found to do it is we have night security. So what we did is we have our paper map. Okay, he has a clipboard. It's gonna say Monday, October 1st. When he does his 12 o'clock round, he knows who's in the park, he just puts nets on that. No, we fought. Now, just what happened in Tennessee was horrible, okay? And they had a couple of situations where they can't find people, okay? We've had this in National at other parks where there's been floods and who you're looking for.
Sorry,
We're not gonna have the exact number, maybe just husband and wife came, but we know we have to look for someone on that site. It's real easy, no paperwork, and we do save, we put him in a file. And when he goes out that night, he takes it and he just drops it. When he's finished work, he just slips it under our office door. So in the morning, because our seasonal thing, we don't let them stay the whole season unless they pay extended season. So they're only allowed 4 nights. So one of the reasons we do this, the guy, they're allowed 2 2-week vacations, but only 4 nights a week. So the guy that comes here at 12 o'clock at night, to me, that's a night, right?
Yep.
So when he says, I just got here this morning, I'm sorry you didn't get here this morning, So and what happens after the 4 nights, it becomes vacation week. So then we'll go say to them, okay, you used your 4 weeks vacation, so now you figure out, you're still doing your 4, but you're gonna pay for everything extra. But the security guard at nighttime is real sick.
Do you have security
Every day?
You're open?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't know that a lot of people have Monday night
Yeah.
security.
The people that have security, it's an easy way to do it, if you have it.
I like that. That's a good idea. Dave?
Another reason we don't have people check in is girls actually checking people in on the computer system. So our seasonals, when they're at the pool, can charge at the restaurant by the pool. They can charge their account anytime to check in the computer system. So they come up to the desk and they try to buy something on their account and say, well, you're not checking in. We know that they didn't check in that day also. So it really makes life simple for the people in the restaurant, either in the restaurant, or people just to order and put it on their account.
So it sounds like we could get something going at each park, something to think about. Any others?
Security staff gets a printout by site number every night.
Yeah, we do that too. That's a good idea. Any other seasonal questions besides this sign-in thing that I started? Anything about payments or payment plans? Yes, you have a question?
What does everybody do, like if your seasonal sign that pays and then they decide to leave at 4th of July?
No refund. Everybody's no refund, right?
They can't
They can leave. They can leave right now. Yeah.
Now, do you rent that site out to somebody else?
Yes. Brand new contract.
I have to tell you guys, if you do that, we got sued for doing that.
Bye.
By a seasonal that got kicked out for many years of bad behavior. New seasonals with kids, we're a kid-friendly campground. The kids can't sleep all night because the two parents are out drunk, fighting in the every night, beer cans everywhere. Finally kicked them out, rented the site out to somebody else. We did not give them a refund because it says that in their contract.
Right.
We got sued and we lost.
You did.
We had to pay them a refund of several $1,000s for their seasonal site, plus the lawyer's fees, plus blah, because we made a profit by renting that site out to somebody else.
But you opened a new contract.
Agreement that says you have every right.
Yeah.
Because there's a law that states that you can't kick somebody out and make a profit on it.
There is in the landlord-tenant, there is a landlord-tenant law like that. And we
Right.
are not landlords and
No.
we're not tenants, so it shouldn't apply. And I don't
There's some
know.
obscure law, maybe we can talk to Mark about that, but we, cost us 10 grand.
Did you involve Mark Hazelbaker with this? Our campground lawyer?
Yes, I believe so. It was a law.
Okay.
Right now, unless your state has went and put a different classification for your landlord tenants, we are in our house now trying to be part of the hotel. We want to be under their category because the hotel is not a landlord tenant.
We are not landlord tenants.
Yeah,
The Waco attorney is very clear, and you cannot use any of those
So
terms
then
of words.
you can throw them.
Right, right. I mean, it might be best practice sometimes, like, we don't say that we give a refund, but we will sometimes give a refund if it's the best practice in the situation. And I mean, they'll know for sure that you re-rented the site, because they will have contacts and things like that. So sometimes it is in your interest to give a refund, but sometimes it's not. But yeah, that would be something to follow up.
Let's bring up with Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will do that.
Because I only know that applying to connection fees, which we don't have.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions?
There's campers that, they pay some money to you, and all of a sudden, for some reason, they have to leave, they have to. And they rent the camper for sale. So right away, they tell, where we put the camper for sale, that the amount already paid for the rest of the year. So there's never a way you can recharge if another camper comes in, because they already told us,
It's not their site. They don't own the site. They just own the camper. So you're in charge of the site.
They should have to sign a brand new contract.
Brand new contract.
People come
Right.
in, and then they would have to
But they
pay.
really don't pay anything, all they have is.
Oh, no, they can't come on.
But they did about the camper.
Oh,
So they never got a whole
The
contract.
camper is separate than the actual site.
right,
Correct.
They can't rent your site.
right.
But they always told the person when the person's buying their camper.
Doesn't matter.
Then you need to meet with them before sales. They already know it's camper.
That's unfortunate, but they should have checked with the owner.
It's a bad spot to say, well,
Yeah, it did.
$700,
Yeah.
Do you have a waiting list?
Sometimes.
So I would just let them know that there's other people who want to come in, and this person would want their camper, that's not their site anymore. So they,
Yeah.
if they want to stay at the park, they need to jump on the waiting list, or apply for their own contract, because that contract that you have with that previous person is not valid with this new person.
I agree with that.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
So the dates and stuff wouldn't be correct, all right?
It puts you in a bad spot, but you can throw it around and put them right in a
I mean,
bad
it does.
Right. Okay, Hannah?
What we did that kind of faults any of that, like, right away, is we have, seasonal applications, and then they have to meet with us to go
That's a
through
good idea.
line by line of the agreement before they even, money is transferred, and then we facilitate the closing.
So you get involved in the sale of the camper?
spot. You're talking.
No. The site.
So we rent out the site, they have to transfer their title and do all of that at our park, and then they go to the DD.
So you are involved in the sale of the camper?
No, you
No.
facilitate the sale.
And you are involved? To facilitate, you automatically involved. Involved as being in the same room.
So what we do is we don't allow our campers to actually sell their own campers on site. What we do is tell them on consignment for them. So that way we have an idea of who's coming into the park as well. And that, so the people that are selling their camper, they would include their remainder of the season in that fee, basically. And then whoever is buying it goes through us. So we're still not doing the sale, but helping with the transaction. It's not, we're not selling it, we're just on consignment, so it's like, we're kind of a broker, I don't know how to, a middleman.
Yeah.
Just so that we're gathering information and knowing who's coming in the campground.
Yeah, does that answer your question then? Does that answer your question at all?
Right.
Clear as mud? I like the seasonal application idea, so as long as your other seasonals know, nope, everybody's got to fill out an app and it gets approved by me first. So that might be something to do. Yep, that too.
I make it abundantly clear as soon as this one goes up for sale that the license agreement was with them, not with whomever they're selling it to.
Correct.
That's a whole new agreement, a whole new payment. It does not, it stops the day you transfer.
Pull off, right.
And you don't get a refund.
Right, yep, Dave?
It's in the agreement you sign.
We also started the seasonal application process about 10 years ago. We do background checks and everybody. We deny people their application.
Yeah.
You find a criminal history. You have to be in control of who comes in.
Right.
And if someone sells their camper to somebody without our approval,
They got to pull it off.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good.
go do a background check.
Yeah.
I think I give them,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They know. Right.
It says right in the contract where you sign.
We're only to 4:15, right, guys? Yeah. Really?
Yeah, that's good. Nobody's knocking on the door.
That's good.
5 would be fine.
Does anybody else, anything else they want to cover? Because we are free to go. It's 4:15.